Hi guys, thanks for joining me again at I Dare Outdoors Basic Tips and Tutorial. Today I will be changing oil and filters on a street bike. And yes, this is an awesome bad boy machine, Suzuki SV1000S Sports. As this is going to be quite entertaining for some of you, I suggest you sit and relax for the next couple minutes with a cold beer. Now you got your cold beer? First off, every bike is different and unique, just like any other thing. Owning a bike is a very personal experience, and with that said, it must be treated individually. Therefore, you must revert to your owner's manual for details and specs of your own bike. And in this case, this is SV1000S owner's manual. Today I want to share basic tips in changing oil and filter service on a street bike. This is a wet sump engine, therefore the oil is contained in the motor and there's no external oil tank in this, quite different than my motor 4-wheel filler quad. And oil quality is a very major contributor to your engine performance and life, so it must be treated really, really seriously. It's a serious deal. Why do we change oil? As you all know, when the bike is sitting around for a fair amount of time, it is a very good idea to replace the oil with fresh oil prior to your next riding. That's simply because over time, the oil that's sitting there loses its ability to lubricate properly. So for quality brand oil and filter, I do recommend manufacturer's factory products. So therefore, please do revert back to your owner's manual. And this is what we'll be using, Suzuki, for cycle motor engine oil. In this presentation, I'll be using factory Suzuki with an MA rating as recommended in the owner's manual. Guys, I always select good quality engine oil. Suzuki recommends the use of Suzuki Performance 4 Motor Oil or equivalent engine oil. Use, for example, SFSG or SJ in API classification with MA in JASO. And for those of you who are curious what these letters mean, API means American Petroleum Institute and JASO is Japanese Automotive Standards Organization. Alright, step one, be sure of the platform of the motorcycle is free of obstacles, just like you see around here. Purposely, we try to make this outside the garage, a lot of clutter, a lot of you have probably, and outside the concrete and free of obstacles, because simply you don't want to get strangled around, cluttered around when you're doing all of the work and everything. However, I want to show you also some of the parts that we already prepared here. This is an oil pan. All right, that's what we'll be using today. And earlier, I've already showed you guys the filter. The oil. Suzuki. Here we go, like about 4 of this bad boy. And the filter, the funnel, and a couple other tools here. So let's get down and dirty on this. I'll take you to the next step. Before we getting down and dirty, it's always recommended that we use protective gloves, because this bad boy can squirt a lot of dirty oil on you without you knowing it. So, with that said, let's take the next step, which is removing the plastic cover so you can access your oil filter. That is simply with all the nuts and bolts that's already out. Take this one. And be sure to, when you remove these nuts and bolts, be sure that you know where to put it and place them safely somewhere. And yes, we will be removing this plastic cover. And be sure you also store it somewhere safely and not scratch all of this nice plastic. And that's it, removing the plastic cover. And then just, a small tip, be sure that you know where you put your nuts and bolts, and have a very safe place and secure place to place all of these items. All right, so the next step, which is removing the oil filter. I guess now we're really getting down and dirty. As I mentioned earlier, protective gloves is highly recommended at this point. All right, here I am with the oil pan, and just placing it underneath this bike. And then what I'm going to do is changing the oil filter. So you're going to need the wrench oil filter wrench and a ratchet. Pretty much. Just get down with it. As you can see, the oil starting to drain. And just loosen it, take it off, and there you go. All right, that's just replacing oil filter. And earlier we showed you how to remove the plastic cover. That's for the easy access to removing the oil filter. All right, now we're ready for the next step, okay?